Sitting in one place and paying attention during school was close to impossible for me. I would get bored super easily. My entire textbook would be filled with doodles, and it just felt like my brain wasn't suited for that kind of environment. Fast forward to now, and I manage 3 YouTube channels, 5 freelancers, multiple websites, programming project, going to the gym 5 days a week, a strict meal plan, relationships, and a ton of other things. Here is what made such a big change to my productivity. Number 1, adaption. Some of us are just straight up born with a brain that needs constant stimulation. A lot of the systems we have in place rewards people that are able to sit down in one place and like a laser focus on a single task for hours on end. That was not me, no matter how much I tried. I didn't change my personality. Instead, I adapted my environment to fit my personality. During a task, I can start off really strong, but I burn out quick too. So having multiple tasks in front of me that I could switch between when one got boring was a quick life hack that expanded my attention span to hours instead of minutes. Number 2, fasting. This one was a weird one, but I noticed that I was more productive, more creative, and even had better workouts when I was fasted. The first 3 hours after I woke up, I'd have almost a superpower in concentration and productivity for the next few hours. So to take advantage of that, I would make sure to tackle the most challenging and mentally taxing things on my schedule very early on in the day. Number 3, environment. Do you ever notice that when the area around you is messy, your mind also feels messy? When my working area has random plates and cups, and my clothes are on the floor, and the dishes aren't washed, it feels like my brain is nerfed by 20%. Take the time to always have a clean and organized area around you to boost your productivity. Number 4, learning style. Have you ever read an entire page of a textbook and literally absorbed nothing? It's like the words on the page just aren't connecting with your brain. But at the same time, you can name all 200 champions and their lore from League of Legends, or you know the names of every single corner of every map on Valorant. The key here is that when you were learning things in video games, you were actively also using the things you were learning. This is known as active learning, and for some of us, it's a far more effective way to learn than just passively reading a textbook. It's not that your brain is incapable of learning, it's that the traditional passive style of learning is inefficient for you. Once I recognized this, I began to look for ways to make my learning more active and hands-on. Instead of trying to read an entire textbook on how to code in Python, I started doing my own simple projects and Googling things whenever I got stuck. Finding a way to make your passive learning be more active will boost your productivity by a ton. Number 5, habits and routines. Contrary to what my school experience might suggest, I thrive on routines. I'm not talking about rigid schedules that dictate every minute of my day, but having a predictable pattern to my day definitely helps keep me on track. This includes simple habits like always starting my workday with a cup of green tea or taking regular breaks at the same time each day. These habits create a rhythm to my day. Once something becomes a habit, it's much less mentally taxing. It just becomes a normal part of your routine. Number 6, study with me. For some reason, when I'm doing a task and everyone around me is also doing it, it makes me more productive. Having a study group was always really beneficial to me. To simulate that same experience, I like watching study with me videos on YouTube. These are basically channels that record themselves studying and being productive, so it kind of mimics that same feeling of having a study buddy. Number 7, study role models. This one might seem a bit silly, but I always really got into the mood to become more productive and work on important things after watching a piece of media where there was a character that was really smart and inspiring. For example, one of my favorite shows ever is Death Note, and both of the main characters in that series, Light and L, are extremely smart. Light especially is always studying and is always the top of his grade. Little sparks of inspiration like that can be really motivating. Number 8, breaking it all down. For some of us, just starting a task is often the most difficult part. For example, let's say your task is something very abstract like learning how to edit videos. There's a million different ways to start that, and because there's so many ways, it gets your brain kind of stuck. You start thinking, okay, should I watch videos, start a course? Where do I even begin? If only someone can give us a roadmap with steps breaking down the entire process. Well, that's one thing ChatGPT is actually amazing for. If I prompt it with something like, give me a roadmap to learning how to edit videos, break down the process into digestible pieces, it will spit out a very clear-cut and amazing way that I can start learning how to edit videos right away. It also asks me questions that might change the roadmap. For example, do I want to edit videos to make movies or to start a YouTube channel? The learning process might be very different depending on what my goal is. Having it create a roadmap for your learning process, taking your preferences into account, is something ChatGPT is amazing at doing, and it's a fairly new technology that we can start taking advantage of right now. With that said, I hope you enjoyed this video on how to be more productive. Make sure you subscribe to our channel for many more videos.